Also glad Yahoo. Fabulous. So, okay, yay. So I know people are still coming in, but I want to just say hello. Yes, I'm a married lady. I just want to tell you that now. So since I've seen you last, gotten married and had a honeymoon in Thailand. Can you imagine? All wonderful. So super excited to be with you again. And today we're going to have a wonderful guest who's actually a colleague of mine for many years, and I'll introduce her in just a bit. But I wanted to, we're going to talk press releases today, just so you know, and have an opportunity to create some good angles, and that'll be fun. And she's an expert and wonderful colleague in that, so that'll be really helpful for you. And before we do that, I'd love to just hear some breakthroughs and just, anything from you, just breakthroughs, not Q&A today, but just breakthroughs. Anyone want to share some breakthroughs? Who wants to share? Come on, I know some good things have been happening out there because I'm reading the emails. And by the way, we're going to post Shannon's bio in the public chat, and go ahead and post that, Mary Beth, and that way people can read that too. Is always a fun thing, which I love. And any breakthroughs? Anything anyone want to share? You're quiet today. Okay, Angela, terrific. Oh, you're on mute.
How about now?
Now you're good.
Okay, hello. Ava says hello. So you connect with me with Ava. And I spoke at the Legacy Leadership Summit on Friday. So we're doing a couple of great things. Yes. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Good news. I love that. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything? Okay, well, you won't be hopefully too quiet when she comes on, and because we're going to draw from you, let me just say, some good, fabulous things. Stephanie, you want to share a breakthrough? You're on mute still. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my video did make it to NamiCon 2023. It's up for the world to see my story and introduces my book.
Oh, beautiful. Well, isn't that exciting? And I love that. And by the way, when you say NamiCon, just so other people know, it's
sure. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and every year they hold NamiCon.
Beautiful. And this is when she says a story she hasn't wanted to tell in a long time. So congratulations, Stephanie. That's a major breakthrough on, frankly, many levels, as we all know. So just telling our stories, right, is major breakthroughs on many levels. So congratulations. I'm totally delighted for you.
Thank you.
That is exciting. And the other thing I just want to remind all of you, as great things happen, which they will, I want to remind you to write announcements about them, right? Gina, I know a lot of great things have been happening for you in the press area, right? Stephanie with that, Angeline with that. I mean, anything that keeps happening, not press releases. Remember the calendar announcements we've all talked about? Raise your hands if you know what I'm talking about. Calendar announcements. Yes. That's what I want you to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, private chat Mary Beth and go, what's she talking about? And she'll help you through that. Okay. So let's make sure that that you're sending out calendar announcements regularly. Every how often?
9 days.
Not quite.
60 days.
60 days. Yes. Every 60 days is calendar announcements. Press releases are another wonderful animal. And we'll talk to you about that more today, because that's the subject of today's mastermind is press releases. Mary Beth, you want to share the resources and the wonderful press, right? And was there, I think, Mary Beth, we were talking, was there anything else we wanted to share in terms of promoting? Please go ahead and post that in the chat if there is. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're going to do that. She'll post that. And in the meanwhile, I want to get right to it because I am super excited. And let's spotlight Shannon. And super excited to bring up Shannon. Hi, Shannon. I haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, congratulations on your wedding.
It's exciting. And I am delighted to have you, my dear friend. We've been colleagues and friends for a long time, actually. What in the same business, playing, with wonderful press and media. And Shannon's a great expert in her field too. And I have great respect for her. And so what I invited Shannon to talk to you today about press releases. She actually has a press release distribution service. I've used it for not only myself, but also some of my clients. But she's really good with capturing essence and getting that, clicked in. So Shannon, I know we didn't talk a lot. I've been on a honeymoon, but I wanted to just bring her in and have her actually really work with you. What's a hook? What's a cool thing? Like that. So Shannon, I'm going to invite you to just take it away. Do me a favor, set a context for what's a press release, what makes good press, and then let's work with, if we can, some people, and let's find those hooks. What do you say?
Perfect. That sounds great. That sounds great.
Right over to her.
And I just want to say, I am so honored to be considered a colleague because you've always been somebody I look up to and a mentor. And I have to say, please listen to Jill. Jill saved me one time. I was getting ready to go on a TV show interview, and I happened to be having lunch with her, and she said, so if they ask you something you don't want to ask, is it okay if I share this real quick, Jill? Because she was like, if they ever ask you something that is taking the interview in a different direction, she was telling me how to kind of navigate and keep control of that. And I'm sitting there, in my own ego thinking, oh, nobody's ever asked me, I've never had that challenge. And lo and behold, I got on a plane, got right off, got into the TV station. And the first question the person asked was just like, I was shocked. And then I kind of embodied Jill, and I was like, well, that's a great question. What I'd like to share is, and just totally send it into another direction. So I just feel honored that you consider me a colleague, because you are really to me, the godmother of how to access media and free publicity. And so please, interject and feel really grateful to work with you. So a press release.
Wait, I'm going to interject right there, because what I taught Shannon, I just want to name this. What I taught her, it's called bridging. It's a bridging technique. So when somebody says in the media, blah, 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 they go some direction that you do not want them to go. Thank you for asking, Jill. What I really want to share about blah, 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 blah is boom. And you just go right to your point. No worries, my friends, because here's the truth about media. What they want is a great guest. And so if you're going to go on and talk about what you want to talk about, it's good. Just saying. Okay. So thank you, Shannon. That's fun. I hadn't remembered that. I love that story.
Yeah. So a press release, to me, what I'm so excited about this is it is like turning on the faucet in your business. It is something that you don't have to be a professional writer. You don't have to be a nonprofit. There's a lot of things that, getting started in business, I thought were true. I was like, oh, you have to be a nonprofit, or you have to be an expert, or you have to be in the media to get a story. And that's so far from the truth. Anybody can get free publicity, and there's really thousands of dollars in media waiting for you right now, just with learning some of these pieces and working with somebody like Jill, who guides you and directs you with that. And so in a press release, one of the key things that we have to learn is how to be quick, clear, and concise. The media is really looking for a story, something that's newsworthy. So the language that you might use on a website is going to be a little different than what you would use in a news story. A news story, we need to come up with and we'll work on this today, but we need to work on a headline that sizzles, that's going to capture their attention. You also want to make it easy for them to say yes, and being easy meaning you don't want to use certain jargon or certain words. You want to have it be easily explained and understood. I know sometimes, I love Jill, how she said the conference of what it is, and you had her say fully what that conference means. And so we want to keep it simple. Also, it's really powerful in a press release to tie into if there's anything that's happening in the media right now that you may be a solution for, or you may have a story to connect it with. I remember one individual who was really growing her, looking at growing her business, but struggling to get out there in a way. And she tied into something that was happening politically, which I'm just using this as an example. And she mentioned somebody's name, and I have to say her story got picked up just from piggybacking on what was in the news, and the story that was in the news that really just took her business to the next level. Jill, anything you want to interject so far?
Well, thank you. And I'm so, like, if I could underline that a million times over around jump and piggyback on everything that's happening in the media now. Yes, yes, yes. And I'll just tell a quick story. A woman who's a dating expert got a ton of press between, what did she say? Oh, it was how a Democrat can date, can a Democrat date a Republican, and can a Republican date a Democrat? That was the question. In the press release that headlined it, she was on TV from morning to night, just talking about that. She's a dating coach, my friend. She's not a political expert at all.
Cool.
Is that cool?
Yes. So I'd love to share a resource that I commonly look at. How many of you are using Help a Reporter Out or helpareporter.com? This is a great resource where every day they actually have you have to set your settings, but morning, noon, and night, you can get sources that are looking for experts to contribute. So that's one way to be looking at what are some of the stories they're looking for and some of the things that you can contribute to as an expert. And I tell people that when you pitch, it is really, especially if you're the story of a press release and you're going to the media directly, it's important to be ready. It's important to have that press release together. It's important to have action photos and things like that in place. If you're looking at HARO, a lot of times they may ask you a specific question, and I want to remind you to please include your short bio. You have to look at this as the press is going through many different candidates that might be contributing as an expert. So you want to take a moment to really make sure that it's newsworthy and you're pitching yourself well. And anything else, Jill? Sorry, I want to keep checking in because I know you are really, as I said, the godmother of free publicity. So I know if please feel free to interject.
No, I think you're actually right on track. I love that. I have just a reminder to all of you, told you get on HARO if you aren't already. It is fabulous. And I want to add in, use an assistant to start going through them. I mean, we have my wonderful John, who I pay $5 an hour to, who goes through them. And then if he has questions, boom, I will answer it for him. So I think it's a really great resource, but I want to say you don't have to always be looking at it.
Absolutely. And they set it up so it's an outline so you can peruse it really quick. You know what I mean? Whoever you hire, they don't have to spend hours on going through them to source what's best for you. And so the key thing today, the other thing with the press release is I like to get them on ideally one page. Now, sometimes you have the opportunity to syndicate, or you may be doing other things where you can add more verbiage, but in the media, they like to see that you can get ideally to the point. The other thing is we love to quote you as an expert. You are an expert, so it's important when you write a press release to write in there a quote from you, and it could be something that you stand for, something that you're working on, but you already want to make it easy and quote yourself in the press release. Another key thing with that is I find that if you can find third-party stats, anything that talks about maybe the problem that you're the solution for, stats gets their attention, right? Stats helps them also look at the story. And it also, I mean, knowing stats is good just even in networking. A lot of times when people come to me and say, you know, did you know that people spend, I'm just making one up now, but people spend $100,000 in marketing and they may not always get the results they want. Like when you can say numbers or stats, that can be a really powerful thing for them. Somebody said, what is the source other than help a reporter out? Is it okay if I share a couple more sources?
That's great.
Okay. I also, now Help a Reporter Out tends to reach some of the big ones. So that really, like, there's Wall Street Journal. I've been on Bloomberg Radio. There's a lot of, that's a really great resource. I also have had some success with radioguestlist.com. That's another one that you don't necessarily have to pay to be able to use. And they give you updates all the time on who is looking for guests, and you can peruse them to see, is this a good fit for me, right? Is this something that's a good match for my time and my message, and also listen to what they're doing that's there. Anything else, Jill, that you can think of? I've got a few more, but those are the two, I think, significant ones.
Yeah, I know I've given them some of the 2 Facebook groups that are really good with putting people together with podcasters, for example. That I like. And let's see, Mary Beth, I think there was one more that we always like. Matchmaker.fm, that's it.
Sorry. Yes. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, is there any more that you have, Shannon?
Well, I know that we, and I'm not remembering her name, but I know on businessaccelerationnetwork.com/ I believe partner or partners, we have a, and I'm not remembering her name, but we have one where there's conferences that are looking for speakers, another one where there is radio opportunities, and
Jackie Lakeman.
Yeah. So there's all 3. And I often tell people, you know, she gives so much great content that it's good to maybe start with one, right? And then do the other one, because we actually tried out all 3 at the same time and just got flooded. It was a little much for us to really go through and deal with them.
Yeah, Mary Beth, would you post Jackie's piece too? That'd be great. Perfect.
So the most important thing is really that headline, that tagline. That's the thing that's going to capture their attention. And
Stephanie, that when you say headline, you mean, because I want them to understand subject line, right? The subject line of the email.
Yes.
Which is really the headline of your press release. I just want to add that in.
Yes. Yep. You want to keep it short, you want to keep it specific, and you want to keep it intriguing. And you really want to avoid general language or things that are promotional. This is where it's that fine line between promotional and really looking at it as a news story. And it's got to be relevant to what you're talking about. Sometimes people will come up with things to get people to open emails, and then they get to it and it's something totally different. So you want to make sure that it's relevant to what you're talking about. You also want to highlight the aspect of the story that might be interesting to the media, that may be of value to them. Is it a groundbreaking innovation? Is it, maybe it's a new partnership? Maybe it's a solution that you're timely with on a problem. So you want to be able to identify that story right up front. And so I would love, if it's okay right now, to just take a moment and have you maybe jot down some ideas on what could be some potential stories, things that you may be able to tell. And I believe there's many types of news, but I like to focus on 3 or 4. One is there's a news, obviously a news story, and it could be an update, new team member, things like that. Things, maybe you're doing something in the community. So is there any sort of community aspect, what you're doing? Is there an event that you're doing? Is there something that ties in there? Education, an education piece is another thing that they may be looking for, as you mentioned on the dating, right? It was like, here's somebody that's Democrat, Republican, and educating on how to date and have a relationship. Is there something that you educate people on? And is there a problem right now that's happening in the world that you may be able to be the solution for? And then the other piece is community education, and human interest is another one that I love. We've all seen that movie, Erin Brockovich, or Seabiscuit, or Gandhi. And I know sometimes people have a challenge sharing their personal story, but those personal stories, the media can absolutely love. One of mine that I shared, I was actually in a car wreck at the age of 19. And I had a surgery that left me paralyzed when I came out. And through that process, had no more insurance or anything. And I ended up meeting a Qigong master who, thank goodness, kind of showed me some things with Qigong. After 2 classes, got a little bit of movement. After 2 months, got full range. And I was like, oh my goodness, the meeting, how many people are suffering from pain or injury or things like that? Could we tell this story? And that human interest story, the headline that they used, how ancient Chinese exercise healed paralyzed woman, right? So that was a human interest story that we used to inspire. Now you may say, well, what does that have to do with your business? Because it doesn't have anything to do with my business. But guess what? When people read those stories, a lot of times they'll go and look and say, what is this, right? Who is this person? I want to get to know this person. And so if there's been a place in your life where you've had an adversity and you've overcome it, that could be something that's newsworthy.
Shannon, they're asking for what was number 1.
Well, like news, like a news story. It could be updates, anything that's we've hired a new person. I know individuals that are raising capital, a lot of times they'll announce maybe bringing on a new board member or a patent or a launch of some sort.
Okay, but I got to add in here, I'm going to play counterpoint on this because I do not think, honestly, unless it's a really localized story, like being on a board, to me would be an announcement, not a whole press release. But we don't, the truth is we never quite know. Media's timing, sometimes if it's a slower news day, they will feature you on things that might be more, shall we say, trivial, but really thinking about, like, I think, Shannon, what you were talking about the community education, human interest, and of course, tying right into news. But I think what would be cool, can we open it up to the peeps here and maybe try some, we can call it, is this compelling?
Yes.
Is this a compelling headline for a press release?
And I just want to share real quick, when you syndicate it and you pay for it, you can break some of the rules. So I do know we had somebody that was raising capital, and we did bring in a major former banker, and we did pay and do a syndication service, and it did end up helping with their investment attraction. So for free press, the chances of them picking it up you're absolutely right. It's almost not a high chance.
Okay, and I want to just explain this because I don't know that they got that, but let me just tell you in total transparency, if I've hired Shannon to get a press release out, was it for the kindness book? I think it was for I can't remember exactly right in this very minute. But let me think.
And I'm looking, I know Barbie, I know that I've worked with a few people that you've had also.
Yes. But here's the thing. What she does is takes the press release, SEOs it, sends it out, boom, and away you go, which is super great. So I want to say it's a service, right? And what's great about that is you actually get guaranteed press, which I think is awesome. But let's talk about if we don't do that, if they're, serving it to their, whether it's local, national, or international, because we got people here in other countries too. What would you, any hot tips for, we'll call it compelling headlines?
Yeah, let's, if it's okay, I see somebody has their hand up. We can go through and actually learn while we're creating them.
It's beautiful.
Donna, do you have one that we can?
Well,
Well, I love what you said in the game, Jill. What was the name of it? Is this newsworthy or is this a
It's
hot topic?
compelling.
well, my hand was originally up because you mentioned the term syndication. And I'm sorry, I didn't have that piece for the answer to this first question. I'll think of something. But my hand was up to ask, what is content syndication and distributor strategy? Is that in Publicity? It sounded like it was in Publicity. You said syndication a few words back, and it struck me because this was a note that I had from another meeting that I heard this, and it helped Publicity, viral influencers, a content syndication and distributor strategy.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to make sure I have that.
Jill, I'll go ahead and share, and then you please, yours. So syndication is when you get it out to the masses. So it's a service where you're able to take one item and just get it out to, in our case, thousands of people.
Okay, thank you.
Did that help?
Yes, thank you. I guess, thank you.
Donna, if I may, I'm going to volunteer you because Donna's an interesting mix of highly complicated and yet very simple. Some of her things, she's got fingers in different pies, right? And now, Donna, I think you've streamlined a little more. But why don't you try this, Donna? I think this will be really helpful to support you, and try it with Shannon about compelling headline. I think that would be really cool. And then I see Elizabeth's hands up. Please put your hands up if you want to work with Shannon and me on this. And I think it will help all of you.
I think the headline that I'm thinking about using right now is blockchain for change, or blockchain for change and tech for good is kind of the direction I think I'm going for a podcast that would be mostly businesses, corporate brands, but nonprofit at the end of the day. I want to tie in the Web3 to nonprofit.
So as far as a podcast title, that sounds great. I would want to maybe with the headlines, can you give us an example of what the change would be?
The change is really going to be all those that are going from legacy systems in Web 2 transitioning into Web 3, because we're still at the forefront of that. AI is here, but the NFTs, the smart contracts, and everything else that's coming, a lot of that conversation where people can understand it and get the aha moment, but bring in the executives and CEOs, and I really want to work with the nonprofits, but I can't go there from the beginning.
So, and I want to say this is something from me that I've been working with Donna with, is simplifying her, right? Because she's so ahead of the game and she's a pioneer in all of this. And we want to make it easy for everyone to understand. But so I like where she started. Bitcoin change, or, I think honestly, there's a lot of confusion still around all of this. And I think we pick a lane for her to a certain extent. So
the lane is really Web 3 is my lane.
Not everyone understands that.
Yeah, so it could be something of, what is Web3 and how it's essential for your business.
There you
go. 7 things you must know about Web3. Or Jill, am I on the right path there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For the subject, yes.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
And then, Donna, guess what? This becomes an article. This becomes a press release. It serves multi-purpose, which I think would be really good. That's much better than what I've been hearing.
So okay, yeah, because I was going broad on one side, but we were talking about the headline and the subject line for an article, or not an announcement, a press release. Okay, thank you.
Press release.
And just some of the other things I'm just looking at is harnessing the power of blockchain for your business. I know that I know a little bit about the contracts. I mean, there's so many angles that if you picked one topic like what Jill did, with as far as the trying to remember what we had here,
press release,
the Web 3.0, right? If you pick one thing and that's where you're going and you start telling pieces on that, that'll be really helpful.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you. All right, we got 5 people. So how about like 2 minutes a person max, and let's keep it moving.
Okay, perfect.
And then we'll see how much time we have to do whatever else. Okay, Elizabeth, let's bring Elizabeth in, Mary Beth. Hang on till you're up on screen, so to speak. There you go.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry, I was a little bit late. So I didn't catch the bigger piece about the press release. However, what I'd like to know though, in writing a press release is if it's a current issue. So for example, because my area is about teens, and let's say there's a shooting in a school. Can I use something like, well, not even that so much, but let's, because I have so many ideas. Can I use from chaos to conversation or suicide is the second cause of death of teens? Would those be things that would be practical? Not, and I need to erase the piece about school shooting because that's a whole other area I want to speak to. I want to be that expert that comes on and has conversation about that. But for right now, how do I get onto local media to say, you know, we need to be having conversations with our kids so that they don't go down that road of suicide?
Mhm.
Can I just ask Elizabeth,
Yeah.
when is Teen Suicide Month?
Mm.
Good question. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, definitely look that up. What would you say, Shannon?
Yeah, and I'm just curious, if you want to be in that area of talking about some of the shootings, is there something that's holding you back from doing that now?
Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to approach what's going on because the
Okay.
majority of them have been in the United States and I live in Canada.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
But I guess
Yeah.
it doesn't matter from
Yeah.
that standpoint.
Because if it sounds like you've got some of the solution to that. It sounds like
Mhm.
you've identified some of those pieces. And so the shooting can be that newsworthy thing that helps get you in the media right now. And it sounds like one of the solutions is that you're able to start having conversations about suicidal thoughts and things like that. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and the whole idea that when we look at someone who's as young as 17 or 18, who's wielding an AF-15 and walks into a school and shoots kids up, we need to find out what's happened before in that kid's life so that we can do something back there, not about judgment, but about how can we help to support so that that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so I think something around retracing the steps, or
Okay.
the gun. I still feel like having the shootings in there, but I love what you said about anytime depression, anytime you can find buzzwords that are very
Mental health, yeah.
common, mental health, right? Those are things that that the media is looking at. So having those in the headline and in the tagline can be important.
Notice what she's referring to is really SEO words. So my friends, as you're writing, be really conscious about what's the buzzwords. That's where Google Earth comes in to help you. That's where if you're looking at trends on your phone, even, I'm watching what's taking up news every day. So anything around buzzwords related needs to be in your descript or headline.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, let's bring in Joyce.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't muted, I guess. How do you approach, I think my strong suit is inspiration. And I'm not sure how to, no one knows they need to be inspired. So I don't know.
By the way, Shannon, this is everybody's a superstar. This woman has been on with Don Rickles with a whip on the Tonight Show. Okay, she's a crack up. She opened for the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, major stuff here.
Okay.
And she is an inspiration. So I just want to say that.
So a human interest story about maybe some of what she's done and how inspiration, what is your business model? Are you?
My recent book is Think It, Work It, Do It. And that is my keynote also.
Okay.
It's, if you want it enough and work enough, you'll get it.
Beautiful.
but it's wanting it enough. And I just see people giving up or just talking and not doing the work. I just turned 82, but I don't think I can put that in a press release because they'll say, oh, she's an old woman.
Oh,
We
no,
don't need her.
I don't agree. Do you agree, Shannon? I don't agree.
I don't agree at all. I just saw the headline, 82-year-old, you know, I think some of who you've obviously shared the stage with or worked with, I would have somewhere in there, but on a mission to inspire the world. I mean, there's, I think age and numbers in general, the media loves numbers and people love numbers. It's like they can connect with that. So I would be utilizing that, definitely.
But I don't know how to utilize it in print.
So I would maybe, and Jill, please interject here, I would maybe tie something around your book. I don't know if you've done a press release for your book yet.
No.
Okay, so your book could be a great place for you to get started and talking about you know, launching your book or your mission of your book to be able to inspire others. But I would definitely tell some of your personal story of your age. Listen to Jill, all of you guys on here. I hope one of the greatest things that Jill does is Jill's going to give you these little seeds. And even though you may not feel comfortable saying them, if she's saying them, she just sold me, right? She just, all those things that she said about you, those are things that you can say in your press release and to the media. So when she introduces you or talks about you, make sure you're taking notes.
So
Jill,
Joyce,
do you mind repeating what you said about her?
what I like to do, Joyce, on our next session together is actually create your press release based on your incredible experience. Particularly, I think you need to move more forward your celebrity status, and let's up level that.
Okay.
That's
I know. I'll help you do. It's only hard for you, not for me. You know, you're in it, and I'm the eagle flying with you. So let's create that celebrity. And this goes for all of you who have anybody you've worked with, been associated with, you know, that has some celebrity. You want to attach to that. It's called celebrity attachment, by the way. There's an actual word for it. I had to get pushed into it, by the way, from my coach, just saying. So I totally get it, Joyce, but we're going to do it together. Okay. The next session, please book that.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's bring on Mary Beth. I think in order, I'm seeing Heidi Sue next. All right.
Hello there. So I just put the 3 headlines into the chat, and I'm just curious which version you would suggest I start tweaking. Either life includes chronic pain and what to do about it. Chronic pain happens to everyone. Plan for it or suffer with it. Plan for or suffer with chronic pain.
Did you say you put it in the chat? And were you seeing it?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, did it not pop up?
No.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm not seeing
there
it.
it is.
So yay. Okay.
There it is.
And when is, you know, I'll call it chronic pain month or some kind of month that affiliates with this?
November is one of the big ones, but there are a number of things scattered around that could work, including some of the Alzheimer's things coming up this month.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. Well, November is also, believe it or not, close enough. What would you say, Shannon?
I would say, hold on, I'm just plugging this in here real quick.
Are you doing, no, I want them to know, what are you doing behind the scenes? Because this is
So-
good.
Well, the first thing is I have a reaction to the word plan. It's very interesting with pain and plan. So I'm trying to, so what I'm doing behind the scenes is I have an AI program where I'll plug things in and I'll say, how does this work in the media? Make this, you know, make this sizzle and what needs to be said. So this one is saying confronting chronic pain, embracing the future, and endure the agony.
Wait, Shannon, what? I got to stop you there. Can they create that program for themselves?
Yes.
Tell them how.
I didn't know if you were. So I love Joust is one thing that you can use. It's free. JOUSE, and I can get that for you. Also Chat GTP is another one that you can utilize. You have to be very specific in the ask in what that is to get really clear. So one of the things I was asking is, make this into a newsworthy headline that the media will like, right? So I'm telling them exactly what we want.
And so
Well, I've spent some time with ChatGPT, so I can definitely fold that in.
What's the sizzle line for her, Shannon?
It just came back as confronting chronic pain, embrace the future, or endure the agony.
Yeah, I kind of like that. It's a little
Nice.
long.
It's a little long, yeah.
So we can work with that, Heidi Sue. I think that is where you go.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you. All right, let's bring Jenny in. Is it compelling? That's what we're playing.
Is it compelling? I love it.
Hi. So I work with women in midlife who've gone through a major event. I have an inner earthquake emergency toolkit program. So my question is, and I also have several interesting stories about my own inner earthquakes. And I think I could use a story talking about how I grew up in a small village in Belgium, didn't graduate high school, and ended up working in high finance, managing staff for a family of billionaires. So I could use that as like how I went from this to this, and then using the inner earthquake around it to do what I really want to do when I grow up, which is what I'm doing now, which is coaching. So I think that's probably something to play with. And would you use inner earthquake in the title, or is that too jargony already, or is that just interesting?
I can understand it. Jill,
Right.
what are your thoughts on it?
I personally love it. And I
Yeah.
am a big one on using their launch titles, book titles, product titles inside of things wherever they can. So I would like to have her do it. The only thing I want you to get off of, Jenny, is the I words. You got to talk to, Heidi Sue out there and Dr. Angela, and why would they care? And that's what I'm concerned
Right.
about in your, as we create your headline, I'll call it, sexy headline. And, the real question is, what are you doing about your inner earthquakes? I don't know. I want people to go,
Right.
what do you mean by that? I want people to ask that question.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and you brought up something really good, is that the press releases, they need to be in third person, so that you cannot use the word
Right.
I. You can in
Yes,
articles,
yes.
some magazines will allow that, but
Yeah, I wasn't particularly thinking about writing something about myself until you said a human interest story. So I thought, that could, I have a few of those, but
Yes, but, preventing your inner earthquake, right? Because people don't want to be in an earthquake, really. So that might be interesting. Preventing your inner earthquake, simple
or
solution.
your inner earthquake doesn't have to be catastrophic or something.
I like preventing. People like how, listen, I've been selling
Right.
books to major agents and publishers for years. And one of the things I've learned is they love, and this goes for media too, how to.
how to. Yeah.
Right? Do you agree, Shannon? With
Yeah,
media?
absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Everybody wants how to. So how to prevent is better. And if you want to be confrontational, you can do that too. But I would personally, I like the how to prevent your inner earthquake. I don't know, Shannon, you got another one?
No, I think that's a great one. Yeah. And what I love when I say I understand it, inner earthquake, I was like, I get what that means.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Even if we don't get exactly what it is, Jenny, it doesn't matter exactly. And here's the thing for everybody, we don't have to know everything you do, like every fine detail.
Right.
We just want to feel better, look better, be richer, whatever it is, right? So
Rich, hot, and sexy. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
And how to be rich, hot, and sexy. I mean, that could be a
I
good
was
headline.
going to say, wait a minute, that's the headline, how to be rich, hot, and sexy.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank
Jenny,
you.
let's bring in David next. Stephanie, you're up on deck.
Okay, mine, I have 2 IRS budget cuts increase nation's deficit as one. And I'm not sure that's a great press release. And so the other is IRS budget cuts hurt your ability to call them. And so, because it's impacting everybody, if they have less staff to take phone calls, they, just reduces your ability to get through.
But David, if I may, knowing you,
Sure.
the truth is you really save people from the IRS, right? You really
I
save
do.
us from having to pay IRS money. I mean, who likes to pay taxes? I don't think anyone really.
Mhm.
So I want you to go that route. I just think it's really interesting, with the exception of, big IRS laws, which you probably are much more up on than any of us. You can make a comment as an expert. I think that's super cool, but I just really think you're better served to really tell people how to avoid taxes, how to save money. Shannon, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, anything getting direct with the money conversation, but the word money it's a magnet for the readers. It's a magnet for people that want to get involved. And so you can save people money on their taxes.
Oh gosh, huge amounts.
He's a former enrolled IRS agent, right?
Oh,
Right. Yeah, I'm an
wow.
IRS enrolled agent, and actually I just took a course and learned 1,200 credits. So I just do a seminar in San Diego. So I have a lot to offer. I was just trying to go with something that's, in the news,
media
the budget
right now.
cuts. Yeah, in the media, the budget cuts.
So could you do something on like 3 things the IRS doesn't want you to know? Or
oh, sure, I can. Yeah. Yep.
Look at her. She's like, I would read that, right? So is there?
Yeah, I can. That's great.
That will save you taxes. I know that you've got to be careful with some things, but Jill's absolutely correct. You can talk about the money, you can talk about the savings, and the problem, like that's where you probably have access to a lot of stats of where people are either paying and they didn't need to, or they're using experts. I have so many stories around. I could probably feed you. I mean, I'm sure you have it, where people used H&R Block, and then they ended up, having major issues because they didn't have an actual expert. And there's a lot of different angles there.
Right. I really appreciate that. And I really like the 3 things, or, because, people are going to think, oh gosh, this is quick and easy, and then just give them great information.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I appreciate that. And I was just going with budget cuts because that's been in the media, but that's really not, after hearing you, that's not the best way to go. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, David. All right. And before we're bringing Stephanie King in, let's also, Donna's asking, are you using chat version 3 or 4?
4.
Okay, thank you.
And then I did put that Jounce. I don't know how to say it correctly.
Thank you.
But that's another tool that's really helpful with creating taglines for specific things, YouTube, and each one has different requirements.
Excellent, thank you. All right, let's, Stephanie, go for it.
Yes, thank you. So I am the author of the forthcoming book entitled The Secret You Hide Holds You Back, How Letting Go Sweetens Life and It Makes You Free. So the stories that I'd like to see in the news come from the angle of the secrets that we all carry. And I have research from Columbia University that says every one of us is walking around carrying 13 categories of secrets. And 5 of those secrets they will never tell anybody. So that's the angle I'm using with my book. I have a few headlines here. 1, I am interested in workplace mental wellness. So one headline is, the C-suite exec in solitary confinement, because one of their pain points is that they're lonely. They can't just step outside the office and go to the next desk and shoot the breeze or meet at the water cooler.
Hang on a second. I like it's lonely at the top, but the truth is, I don't think that's a big enough story or a wide enough net. Shannon, we want to reach business owners, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another, how company leaders find relief and profit in cannabis edibles. Another one, secret baggage employees bring to work shrinks the bottom line.
That's better. Or what
that one.
secrets is your employees? What secrets are you holding at work? I think it's interesting.
Yes,
You know,
that was my NAMI speech. Mhm.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
There we go.
What secrets are you holding at work? Because frankly, with the quiet quitting, with, you know, I just read something that employees were confronting their bosses recently, yesterday, 2 days ago or something. It was, they're not only quitting, they're confronting. I thought that was interesting.
That is. I have two more really quickly. Everyone is haunted by at least 13 categories of secrets. And the last one, family secrets can fuel a family feud.
Mm.
And
So
I
is your
would,
audience businesses or both? Family?
in general, and I like the workplace angle too, but those are just different types of headlines that I want to get your take on.
I like the last one, if you do coaching for them and you actually make money in that, or we can drive them over to your workplace website, which you know we can. And then Shannon, what's your feeling on the workplace one?
Well, I think the workplace and dealing with the word profit, if you can add profit or bottom line, that's going to be a piece that's there. And maybe you tie into some of the secrets that people are keeping right now because of what's happening in the world. I mean, maybe there's an angle that you know, I'm not sure, Jill, maybe you have other ideas, but I was just thinking that I know a lot of people are not, they're not saying things. A lot of people are keeping things to themselves. And so maybe you could pick a hot topic that you have as a secret.
That's what I'm talking about, the secrets that you don't want to say at work. You can make it a series. It can be at home. It can be to your kids. I mean, it can be a whole fun thing from there, but I would start at work because that's who you're after in terms of, you know, paying you.
Yes. Oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's bring in Dr. Angela, who is a
Hello.
medical.
Can
Just so
you
you
see me? My computer's doing. Okay. Hi, how are you? Hello. So I recently spoke at the Legacy Leadership Summit last week. So the weekend. So number one, is it possible that I could do a press release on an event that was recent? And I do have a couple of, so I still can do that. Okay.
Yes.
So one headline I have is The Art of Juggling, Mastering Work and Life for Female Leaders. I'm a medical doctor and wellness expert to female executives and entrepreneurs. And we talked about leadership, self-leadership, and I'm tying in self-prioritization, self-care, and well-being in terms of my overall messaging. So The Art of Juggling.
I liked it, Jill.
I love it. I mean, who doesn't feel like they're juggling? Anyone who doesn't feel like you're juggling? I mean, come on. I think more than ever, actually, in a weird way, even though, you know, we're all on Zoom and things are different. I think things have actually gotten even more intense. And then Dr. Angela, I'm hearing a lot about social anxiety, you know, again, still staying healthy. I think we still all need to deal with that, right? Staying healthy. How do we do this out, you know, coming out of a pandemic? How do you stay healthy? How do you
working at home too is another thing that, it's like, how do you shut off and juggle all these things when your office is still there? You know, I mean, there's.
Yes, and I did a LinkedIn Live about that, talking about the boundaries, right? They're blurred and we need to have very distinct boundaries. I have one more. If you don't mind, Beyond the Corner Office, unveiling the secrets to well-being for female executives.
What was that first part again? Can you say it?
Beyond the Corner Office,
Beyond the Corner.
unveiling the secrets to well-being for female executives. And I'm writing a book, and it is on well-being, how well-being is a result of balanced living is a result of wellness. So, I mean, that's another.
Well-balanced equals well-being. Something.
Balance, yes, work-life balance is a precursor to well-being.
No, but that's to me the title.
Okay.
Well equals well-balanced. Not quite. I mean, it's not quite there, but it's close.
Okay.
And could you give a number, do you think, Jill? Could she say 3 ways to, or?
I always like that. Yeah.
I do have 3 of John Maxwell's laws. that are related to personal self-leadership and also well-being, the law of the lid, the law of priorities, and the law of empowerment.
Okay, we don't want to tell them all that because it's too
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Even
Yeah,
in
so
a-
I was going to use this example. So I had somebody that did 101 ways to relieve stress, and they put it in the tagline, right? Or in the subject line. But what they gave was they just shared like 1 or 2 tips. They shared about the problem, the stats, why stress is so, it's another challenge in itself. But then they just shared 1 or 2 solutions, and then they actually had an opt-in, go here to get the other items to learn more. So even though you give a number, you don't have to give all of those pieces. Jill, do you find that true for
I
yourself
think that's
also?
great. And I definitely, I'm very big on, I don't like too many. I think max 3. Now, but I like that technique that you just said. That's super cool, because then it's driving people to your special report. And by the way, I've, clicked on those 101 tips once they get 3 really good ones or even 2 really good ones.
Okay,
So
great.
I want to share the tagline that took our event from 500 to 2,000 attendees was 85 ways to improve your health in 6 hours or less.
Wow.
And so the 85 ways is we had 85 expo booths, and it was a 6-hour show. So it was fascinating how that headline, you can get really creative with the numbers to make it stand out.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Shannon, do me a favor. Let's wrap up with some, we'll call it hot tips from you. Anything else you want to just share? First of all, can we just give her a whoop, whoop? Yeah. For all your great info. And Mary Beth, let's just have, thank you. That was just wonderful. Your coach, did all of you learn something from everyone? Yes? I mean, I know, listen, I did. So Shannon, you want to just wrap up with any specific thoughts you have, or I forgot to say, and also let people know how they can reach you or any free gifts you might have for us?
So thank you so much. So for me, we can connect at meetshannon.com, and that's all social media and text and everything to connect there. You'll also find a free gift if you go to mediamagicbook.com that has so in the book, it has like 100 powerful words that we use with creating taglines and bios and things like that. And for me, the final remarks is you guys are with one of the most brilliant marketing women on the planet. Utilize, really show up and use her as as she offers, and just know that there is media right now with your name on it waiting for you. And to put time and energy into creating those stories about you as whether a celebrity, you all should be celebrities. I love that you said that, Jill. It's like, let's help celebritize you. You all have that story within you. And this has been for me, one of the greatest ways to turn on the faucet in my business is to have those press releases. And we all have so many stories. It's not just one story. I know we were working on one tagline, like if you spent time with Jill, I'm sure Jill could give you 20, right, Jill, of different angles that you could take. So just know there's nobody out there.
I won't know, and I mean this. I won't. By the way, Shannon, while I'm talking, will you put your free gift in there too? I know we've got one of your links.
Yep.
And why I won't, my friends, is because I don't want you to have so many that it confuses people. I want you to be narrow, specific, sometimes controversial, sometimes, so interesting, sometimes statistic related, sometimes vulnerable, sometimes, it can be any of those things, but we don't want to give them so much that they just tune out. I mean, the media, when I'm talking about that. Right, Shannon?
Yes. And what I'm saying is just that you can take that one angle and sometimes you can tweak it and have, more than one press release.
Yes, thank you. Yes, perfect. Yeah. So Shannon, again, thank you so much. And kudos to you and kudos to everyone who worked with her. You're just amazing as always. And I appreciate you. Can we just give her another round of applause? Come on. We got to go round of applause. And to just say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for dropping by and your brilliance. and your support for all of us. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Ciao. And thank you, everybody, for coming by. And we will obviously see you again very soon for Q&A. Mary Beth, did we have, I think we had a slight adjustment on Q&A, didn't we? Did you announce?
You and I didn't finalize that.
Okay, we will have a slight adjustment. Watch for it. Okay, it'll be a watch for it. I think I did, Mary Beth. I think I said 2:30.
Okay.
Can you put that down right now by chance? If you can, and if not, watch for it. But if you can right now, that'd be super great. And that way then you just get it in their calendars. And yeah, good. I hope you learned a lot from that. I think she gave you a lot of food for thought and new ways to look at things. And, you know, honestly, is she still there? No. And I'll just say, I have paid Shannon to do a press release distribution service through my clients. They got great results. I always know, you know, she's always looking for the best of. And you notice, even as you were talking, she was typing it in. She was seeing how it looked. So I think that's a really good thing for all of you to start to adopt, like right now. And that is get a program in that allows you, enables you to look to see how the media responds to you with that. Okay. And she gave you the way to do that. Everybody give me a thumbs up if you're clear what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you. I want you to really get in the habit of that. I think it's going to make a big difference for you and help you with the opportunity to just look more, look easier, I'll call it, right? Make sense? Okay, beautiful. Mary Beth, did you find it?
No, but I'll get it out to everybody.
Okay, it'll come out really quick, you guys. It's a slight adjustment, but nothing too big. Excellent. All righty then. Super great. Thank you. You have a blessed and beautiful rest of your day, evening, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Bye. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you.